Hey there, Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Welcome to day 31 of our BU 365-day challenge. Challenge where we do one thing every day that improves us. Now, this is the last day that we're going to do our concentrated focus on our physical well-being, our physical environment, our physical body, etc. Now, it doesn't mean we're not going to talk about it or do anything with respect to it for the rest of the year, because that's what we're going to talk about today. How do we continuously improve and move from where we are to where we want to be throughout the entire year, not just for the days that we're concentrating on our physical well-being? Well, I have a couple of tricks up my sleeve that I use and I want to share with you. One is, and this will be your action item today, is what is your vision for your long-term success, and what does being physically well look like to you? You have to have a clear picture of that in your mind. So I need to share a sentence or two about this in the comments below for your action item today. Now, one of the most powerful exercises I ever did was back in the days when I was doing real estate. I was working with a woman by the name of Karen Nelson Bell, and she was one of Robert Allen's associates and students, but she had written a book and was focusing on particularly real estate investing for women. And so I wrote some portions of her book, and I actually gave her a testimonial and things too. And I went through a course that she offered, and she was a mentor of mine for a year or two with respect to women investing in real estate. And one of the best exercises that I think she taught me, and I'm sure it came from Robert Allen, and I'm sure that came from all the other positive thinking mental gurus out there at the time, but it was to sit down and write out exactly what you want your future to look like. And it wasn't just about physical, materialistic, and real estate things. It was about, what do you want your home to look like? What do you want your family to look like? What do you want the material things you have in your life to look like? What do you want you to look like? What kind of health are you in? What kind of shape are you in? Who are you in relationships with? So it touched on all the areas and aspects of our life. But I wrote like a 6-page typed out document for that. And this was still when I was back in corporate America. So it was an interesting exercise because what I envisioned for myself was very different than what I was currently experiencing living in my life. And that made it a really powerful exercise because it gave me that clear picture and vision when I was being 100% honest with what I want. I remember having my now ex-husband read that, and he kind of scoffed at it. And that should have been my indication that I had picked the wrong relationship, but it took me another decade or so to figure that out. So how can you make, and one of the questions I like to ask myself is, how can I make getting what I want, the vision of what I want, easy? How can I make it easier? Well, I like to take and think about the things physically in my life. Number one, we get to define what success is for ourselves, right? Most of us have this big, long list of things that we have to achieve before we consider ourselves successful. But I want to invite you to re-examine your definition of success and say, what if I did this or this or this or this or this or this or this? And if I did anything on that list, then I got to feel successful, because success is a feeling. It's an emotion, right? Just like love and hate and jealousy and greed and contribution and happiness and joy. They're all emotions. So if success is an emotion, I want to feel it every day, because if I feel a little bit successful every day, then I want to get more of that. I want to feel more of that. And so I will continue to do things every day to give me the feeling of success. So we want to do a couple of things. We want to change our definition of success. And so every day that I do or you do something physical or good for ourselves physically, that means we've succeeded that day, right? So if I do one push-up, one sit-up, one jumping jack, if I walk around the block, if I eat one healthy meal, if I say no to something that I know isn't really good for me and I don't eat it or don't do it, any one of those means that I've succeeded for that day. And that will give us the momentum to continuously find and look for more things to do every day that make us feel well and that contribute to us achieving the vision of what we want for ourselves physically. That means materialistically, physically, in our environment, as well as our health and well-being. So change your definition of success if it feels good to you. And it's a little uncomfortable at first. I remember when I first did this and first learned about this, so many of us, and I learned it from Tony Robbins back in like probably the early 80s. we do this. We make it so hard we make it actually impossible for us to succeed, and we make it really easy normally for us to fail. And we want to flip those definitions and flip those things around. And that's a very powerful way to think about our lives and about our world. Other things that I like to do to make my well-being, my physical well-being automatic are I link the things that I want to do to make me feel better and make me feel physically better to other activities. I think I mentioned yesterday, I do deep knee bends when I'm brushing my teeth or when I'm microwaving my coffee, things like that. Or I'll do, what's it called when you touch your toes? Bending and stretching when I'm doing something. Or I'll do different yoga poses while I'm waiting for my coffee to microwave. Or if I'm microwaving something for breakfast, like my oatmeal. I can get an accountability partner sometimes for different things physically that if I want to try a new thing and I'm a little nervous to do it, like my sisters and I have been talking about doing a yoga class forever. We still haven't done it, but there's no way I'm going to go do a yoga class probably by myself. Maybe with my daughter, but not by myself. So some things we want to get an accountability partner with us, somebody that'll go along with us, that'll number one, hold us accountable to going, but will also take off the pressure of being new by ourselves in a new activity. Reward yourself along the way for little milestones that you hit. And you decide what the rewards are, right? Just like you decide what everything means, you get to decide what you reward yourself with. But be on the lookout for well-being tips, tricks, and strategies that you can model from other people. What do you see other people doing that works? Test it out on yourself and see if it works for you. So those are some of the things that I recommend for continuously improving in our physical well-being. And again, we'll touch on this and talk about it throughout the rest of the year and the challenge. But this has been our first area of focusing physically. Why? Because it's what's around us all the time. It's what we are. We are a physical being. And so it's really easy for us to start there and start tuning into and paying attention to our bodies. All right. Any questions? Hit me up. Any comments, concerns, thoughts about physical well-being? Otherwise, share what is your vision about. It doesn't have to be super detailed. You could just share or done that you've done it, or something. If you write a 6-page thing, you don't have to share it with us or me on the Facebook group, but you could just put done. But go ahead and spend a few minutes and do this activity. I guarantee it will transform and change your life if you have a clear picture of what you want. Because so many of us deny ourselves what we actually want. You don't have to show anybody. You don't have to tell anybody, but just do it. All right. Have an awesome day. If I can help you in any way, ask. Otherwise, know that all is well. The babies come into the world from the non-physical and tell us all is well. And this one is about, we don't have to be sick to transition and leave our bodies. It says, my health and well-being are natural forever. And that, again, goes along with what you believe about life and death. I personally believe we're infinite beings and we just go on and on and on, and we transition and transform into different forms of energy. But that's something that came with already having had a death experience. So a different thought process than a lot of people have. But guess what? We all get to have our own thoughts. We all get to have our own beliefs. All right, have an awesome day. I will be with you tomorrow for day 32 of our BU 365-day challenge to do one thing every day that improves us. Go out, make yourself better, and set the example for the rest of the world.